What up, what up, what up, y'all? And we back again. As y'all already know, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the show. Today we take a look at this article Kareem wrote. And for those who don't subscribe to Kareem's blog, is kareem.substack.com. I'll probably leave a link in the description. So you can go subscribe to that also. But Kareem did, what was this, on the 28th of March? Well, he did a little blog called Will Smith Did a Bad Thing. Slapping Chris Rock was also a blow to men, women, the entertainment industry, and the black community. Now, but even before I get started on this period, we do have to understand one thing. Well, first things first. In the black community, especially for black men, we carry the weight of everything that black men do out in the public. Anytime there's a murder, we feel it. Anytime there's black on black crime, that, those who are out here who say that doesn't exist. But, anytime that happens, us upstanding black males, upstanding black citizens, we feel that. We have to carry the weight of that. Every time there's a black guy who molests a child, rapes a woman, is a deadbeat father, us as black men have to wear that on our jacket. Even though it has nothing to do with us individually, we have to wear it. So when he says it was a blow to men, women, the entertainment industry, and the black community, you do have to understand, especially for the black community, anytime something goes wrong, we understand that we are viewed that way. We are viewed almost as a monolith. Now, part number two to this is, you had the Chris Broussards, which I'll dissect his conversation with Skip and Shannon tomorrow, and where I thought he was wrong and why he took the stance he took. Whereas our women need us to protect them. Yes, if they're being physically harmed, they sure do. But see, the term toxic masculinity comes from us maneuvering around as Vikings, knuckle draggers, not allowing them to defend themselves, and not even defend themselves. It was just words. There was no need for the smack. The smack was more so about Will than it was about Jada. It was about, he was tired of people disrespecting him inside of their marriage. Really didn't have anything to do with Jada. But we'll start the article off. When Will Smith stormed into the Oscar stage to strike Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife's short hair, he did a lot more damage than just to Rock's face. With a single petulant blow, he advocated violence, diminished women, insulted the entertainment industry, and perpetuated stereotypes about the black community. And see, I am doing this when Kareem does it, because Kareem is very thoughtful. There's not too many athletes I can say when they speak, they're thought provoking. This is what Kyrie aspires to be. This is what Kaepernick aspires to be. Will they ever reach Kareem's status? I don't know. But they have a lot of life left to live. It's a lot of time to read, educate yourself on certain topics, and become OGs in this process also. So they can mature into those. They could mature into the type of guy Kareem is at this point. Whether you agree or disagree, the one thing I always tell you is there's some thought behind anything Kareem says. And we'll get into probably this weekend. Kareem's comments about LeBron. Now, he starts to say that's a lot to unpack. And when somebody tells you that's a lot to unpack, that means they're getting ready to get busy. Let's start with the facts. Rock made a reference to Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, is looking like Demi Moore in G.I. Jane, in which Moore had shaved her head. Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from alopecia, which causes hair loss. Now, if we're going to be honest before we continue with this, even if you go all the way back to a different world, Jada Pinkett kind of always teetered with short hair. There was times she had long hair. She played around with wigs, even when she was in The Nutty Professor. But Jada's kind of always bounced from super short hair to occasionally long hair, but she always really kept it short. So for me, to be honest, I didn't think anything of it when I saw her hair was short. I just thought, yo, she got a perfect egg head. So it was like, it's a perfect head. She has the perfect shaped head to be bald. So for me, I thought, oh, it's just a new look for Jada. And because she's on this mother goddess trip at this point, I kind of just thought she was looking the part. Didn't even really think about alopecia. Now, okay, I can see where the Smiths might not have found that joke funny, but Hollywood Awards shows are traditionally a venue where much worse things have been said about celebrities as a means of downplaying the fact that it's basically a gathering of multimillionaires giving each other awards to boost business so they can make even more money. There's no lie right there with what Kareem said. And in fact, earlier that night, Regina Hall made a joke about them and their open marriage, and it was fine. Jada laughed, we'll laugh. So again, it's not really about that's why I know it was deeper than just a joke. Because he didn't go snap at Regina Hall. He took that one on the chin and he rolled with it. Now let's also look at what Kareem said. When he said it's basically a gathering of multimillionaires giving each other awards to boost business so they can make even more money. Was he lying right there either? Also, no. That's the facts. That's all this is a coming together for us to get on national TV, pat each other on the back, and validate each other. The Smiths could have reacted by politely laughing along with the joke or by glowering angrily at Rock. Instead, Smith felt the need to get up in front of his industry peers and millions of people around the world, hit another man, then return to his seat to bellow, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth twice. Now, when we get to that part, there's things that we could talk about that Chris Rock was probably, could this have something to do with what happened 5-6 years ago when she was boycotting the Oscars? Well, when Jada was screaming, let's boycott the Oscars because Will didn't get, I don't think Will got nominated that year. But even if it did, she was on this whole, they don't really honor black people, which for me, again, as I spoke about on the previous episode, if they're not honoring you, why would you even attend? You're attending now because you're going to win. So again, it's kind of always, we don't need y'all, but as long as you're going to pat us on the head, I'm cool with it, which is fine. You know, we won't even go there in this episode either because I don't want to take this way off the rails. But it was like Will wanted to use this moment with all the eyes on him to get up and send a message to the world to say, keep my name, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but August Alsina is getting ready to bring a tell-all book out. about all of his sex capades with Jada. And the book should be out in a few months. And I can't knock him. I'm pretty sure it's a boatload of money was put on the table for him to write that. But again, there was no venom toward August Alsina. There was no venom toward the man he's really upset with. That's Tupac, because he's dead. There's no venom toward any of the other men who have defiled your wife, disgraced your bedroom. None. You took it on you took it upon yourself to smack a guy who all he did was make a joke. And the G.I. Jane joke, to be honest, it wasn't that serious. And it wasn't like Demi Moore had alopecia. And to be honest, Demi Moore was kind of I won't say a butch in G.I. Jane, but she was on the masculine side in G.I. Jane, which Jada is thought to be the masculine one in your relationship. So I could see if you took that joke that way, Will, where you could kind of been upset. But I don't think you took that joke that way. So I think you just took it as I'm ready to send a message. It's kind of like the 6 foot guy who wants to send a message to everybody else that he ain't no punk. So then he goes smack the guy who's 5'5", 5'6". He's no threat to you. Now, that's something I always tell people when it used to come to me with that. I'm never gonna fight a guy smaller than me because there's nothing for me to gain from it and everything to lose. A, I could lose that fight. B, if I whoop his ass, I was supposed to. C, I look like a bully. So there's nothing for me to gain out of this. And D, no one is still going to fear me because I beat on somebody who was smaller than me. So let's get to the next part. Some have romanticized Smith's actions as that of a loving husband defending his wife. Comedian Tiffany Haddish, who starred in the movie Girls Trip with Pinkett Smith, praised Smith's action. For me, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen because it made me believe there are still men out there that love and care about their women, their wives. That's that bullshit of black men don't protect black women. That's all that is. For her to say that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, what does that tell you? That it ain't love unless it's some type of physicality in it. See, they see you more so. I've stated this on more than one occasion. They see you more as a bodyguard than they see you as a companion. You are a bodyguard, a check, and sexual gratification. That's it. They don't see you for the most part outside of those three things. That's what they think you bring to the table. That's why they always say, yo, I need a man who's 6 feet. Got a little build on him so I feel protected. I always counteract that statement with, why do you feel you need protection from men? Just in case something pop off. Why would something be popping off between you and the man? Just in case he say something, I say something right. You can't control your mouth. The money aspect. Yeah, I just want to know something happened to me. He gonna hold me down. Well, what if something happened to him? You gonna hold him down? Well, that ain't the way it's supposed to be. Well, I thought we was trying to get away from the way things were supposed to be. We want to be in this new era. No, I need a man like the old days. Cool. Sexual gratification. There are a lot of groups I'm in, be it Reddit, Facebook, where there are women sleeping around on their husbands all over the place. And it's why I tell people, Don't let infidelity be the reason if you have a good woman or man, your relationship ends. Because there's women out here foul. Y'all think men cheat? If you go look at the numbers now at this point, you'll see the numbers are almost even in terms of married women and married men stepping out in their marriage in terms of infidelity. But for us, those are the things women see you as. They don't really care how your day was. Now they'll ask you because they just want to have a conversation with you. But I'm gonna tell you, you'll know they don't care about really how your day was because 2 weeks later you're gonna say, "Hey, yo, yeah, remember I was just doing this. Yeah, but who is this and who is that? We just had a whole hour-long conversation about that last week. Remember? Oh, I don't even remember. You know, I'm getting old. My mind going. That's because they ain't listening to you when you talking. They setting the conversation piece up when they ask you how your day was. All they hear is wah, 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 wah. And once you finish, then she ready to lay everything into your lap. But she just want the conversation initiated first so she can act like she cares about what you're going through. And once you finish, then she's going to dump everything she has on her shoulders onto you. That's it. But she can really care less. And it's why I tell you, don't get into these relationships. This is what Will is finding out now. You get into these relationships and it's always, I love you. You're the greatest I ever had. Nobody touched me or made me feel the way you do. And I always tell men, you can give your life for her. You can go to jail. Which is what Tiffany Haddish is celebrating right here. I want a man who's not afraid to shoot somebody or beat somebody up. Fine, you can go to jail. But while you in jail, doing that 5, 10, if you murder somebody, 15, 20-year bid, this is what she's going to tell you 5 to 10 years in. You can't expect me to sit around forever and wait for you. You should have learned how to control your emotions. And then she's going to check out. I'm going to always tell you, man, choose you every time. Now, if you're out with her and somebody is disrespecting her and your presence, why sure step up? But if you call me saying, yo, this guy was looking at me funny, so I look back at him and start jawing at him, and then we start just going back and forth, can you come up here? Yeah, figure out how to get home. I'm going to bed. So let's get to the next part of this. Actually, it was the opposite. Smith's slap was also a slap to women, and Kareem is correct there. If Rock had physically attacked Pinkett Smith's intervention would have been welcome. Or if he'd remained in his seat and yelled his post-slap threat, that would have been unnecessary but understandable. Exactly. You could have yelled what you yelled. You'd have looked like a clown. You'd have looked like you had lost your mind. But you could have did that from your seat. But by hitting Rock, he announced that his wife was incapable of defending herself against words. And see, when he said against words, that's what women have been fighting for now for the last 100 years. We don't need you to defend us. That's really what G.I. Jane was about. I can compete and I'm just as strong and I can fight with you men in the military. So see, Will was proving a point and making a point without even realizing he was making a point. While we're looking at it from the hair aspect, that movie was about, hey, yo, I can perform with you guys. I want to be in the Marine. She wanted to be in the military, I believe. Shaved her head, did all of this, went ahead, and you know, it was what it was. I may take a look at G.I. Jane again also. to see what type of feminist BS was actually in that movie. But at that age when it came out around that time, and I was like 16, 17 years old. So, at that point, I didn't even see the world in that way. Now, from everything I've seen of Pinkett Smith over the years, she's a very capable, tough, smart woman who can single-handedly take on a lame joke at the Academy Awards show. She did. She sighed, rolled her eyes, and kept it moving, which is why I said I still would love to see what that looked like. What was that look she gave? Or what happened from when they panned away from Will to Chris Rock and then Will jumped on the stage? We still haven't been able to get that beautiful being footage, but I would love to see that. Now, this patronizing paternal attitude infantilizes women and reduces them to helpless damsels needing a big, strong man to defend their honor, lest they swoon from the vapors. Again, another point Kareem was correct on, because again, they hate to be looked at as the damsel in distress now. These are a lot of the talking points of the feminist movement. Now, the problem I have with all this is what? These are their talking points, but on this stage, they wanted to get behind Will and say, I'm with that. Now, see what black men have to understand, which is different from a lot of other cultures, is now our women have started to walk into this whole, they're coming into this movement now and saying they tired of being a strong black woman. They tired of fighting. But they won't turn on the feminist movement. They won't walk away from the feminist movement, but they don't want to be a strong black woman. So see, they want their cake and eat it too. They want to be held and caressed by you. And then if you step out of line or you don't do something that they like or they need some independence from you, then they'll step away and go use feminist talking points. That's the trick bag they got you in. If he was really doing it for his wife and not his own need to prove himself, which again, Kareem is correct on, he might have thought about the negative attention this brought on them, much harsher than the benign joke. That would have been truly defending and respecting her. This women need men to defend them is the same justification currently being proclaimed by conservatives passing laws to restrict abortion in LGBTQ plus community. Now, again, I'm not a fan of abortion, but again, like I said, my feelings when it comes to abortion. If that child is deemed to be a human being inside of that womb, then it's murder and just call it that. But again, we're not getting ready to veer off. We're going to stay focused. Worse than the slap was Smith's tearful, which this was worse than the slap, to be honest with you, self-serving acceptance speech in which he rambled on about all the women in the movie King Richard that he's protected. Those protect, don't brag about it in front of 15 million people. And he's correct. I always tell people, you'll never know a killer until you're getting ready to take your last breath. Again, if he was the protector that he thought he was, if he was as tough as he thought he was, I've also stated this also. Chris Rock would have never made that joke. See, the one thing I tell you when you go back and you look at certain men, certain alphas, they don't play with Denzel's wife. They don't play with Samuel Jackson's wife. You don't hear people speak ill when Suge was running out in the streets. They don't talk about Suge Knight like that. They were fearful. And they understood we'll probably have to see them on the streets outside of this. See, certain men, you don't even see them play with their name like that. As they understand there's consequences. I always tell people, We ain't gonna get into a whole bunch of rah 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 with me. I see you. We can talk about it then. We can talk about it in person, but we ain't gonna keep going back and forth. You soft, no, you soft, no, you soft. Bet you ain't gonna do nothing. Bet you ain't. I ain't got time for all that. If you think that's what it's like, and you feel that's what it's about, if you froggy, just leave. But all the screaming back and forth, we don't do it. If I feel like you can ready to invade my space, I'm popping off. And that just is what it is. We'll deal with the consequences later. But yeah, it ain't gonna be no chest bumping and shoulder bumping and head rubbing against each other, talking about what you gonna do. Nah, I ain't with all that. I ain't gonna disrespect you. Don't disrespect me. The second you disrespect me, hey man, whatever happens after that happens. Now, those who protect don't brag about it in front of 15 million people. They just do it and shut up. You don't do it as a movie promotion, claiming how you're like the character you just won an award portraying, which was it was so clownish that he did that. And then to have Richard Williams come out and say, "Yo, I don't promote violence, so don't throw me in the middle of this." Then you got people trying to make excuses. He thought he was still in character. Oh man, they said Will Smith won the award, not Richard Williams. All of the crying. I I was protecting you guys, man. Hey man, if you was protecting them, and see, I told y'all in this previous episode I did when I first talked about this, he's trying to become the face now of the Protect Black Women movement. And again, Black women love to tell this lie that nobody protects them. I can show you hundreds of thousands of dead bodies where men was protecting Black women. I'm going to say this again. At the root of 95% of Black on Black crimes, it's a woman. Some woman was mean mugged. Somebody called a woman a bitch. Somebody touched a woman incorrectly. That woman was in a relationship with another man and you violated him when he talked to her. He found out and he came your way. But this whole Black women aren't protected thing is bullshit. That's all Black men have been doing is protecting Black women. Hell, they've had the shell on and the arrows have been hitting them and they've been standing over Black women for the last 200-300 years so that they don't get hit. Hell, Black men haven't progressed in this country to the tune of protecting Black women. They destroyed their homes. The whole Welfare Act movement. They destroyed their homes and gave up leadership in their homes to protect Black women. This is all bullshit at this point. But we ain't gonna go through that either. Because I ain't gonna take this and let this derail that. Now, by using these women to virtue signal, he was in fact exploiting them to benefit himself. But of course, the speech was about justifying his violence. Apparently, so many people need Smith's protection that occasionally it gets too much and someone needs to be smacked. And again, I told y'all on the episode I did with my brother-in-law, I would not be shocked if behind closed doors he was whooping Jada's ass. That this was some Ike and Tina type stuff where they was getting real physical behind closed doors. I really wouldn't be. When you really listen to Will's, like I said, I heard the first 2 chapters of the book and my wife took it. And after that slap, I'm not even really interested anymore in listening to it, but she listened to it. Like I said, if you listen to the first few chapters and he talks about not being able to protect his mother and all of that and growing up in an abusive household, it wouldn't shock me if Will and Jada had physical altercations. What is the legacy of Smith's violence? He brought back the toxic Brio ideal of embracing Cobra Kai teachings of might makes right and talk is for losers. Let's not forget that this macho John Wayne philosophy was expressed in 2 movies in which Wayne spanked grown women to teach them a lesson. Young boys, especially black boys, watching their movie idol not just hit another man over a joke, but then justify it as him being a superhero like protector, are now much more prone to follow in his childish footsteps. Perhaps the saddest confirmation of this is the tweet from Smith's child Jaden, and that's how we do it. And again, I told you, that's the one worry I had was the fallout from this. You started to watch all of these men say, no, that's how you protect your woman. Every man who stated that's how you protect your woman is a simp. And you must identify him as that and take a step away. Understand that's what you're dealing with. For every woman who told you they would love to be protected by this, by that, and that's the most beautiful thing they ever saw, that's a hood booger. That's an ain't nothing ass chick. You don't want to be involved with that. See, through certain situations, what I've always realized, I won't say always, last 20 years I realized is how people view certain things reveals their character to you. See, just situations like this, while you'll never be able to see somebody in action, what you'll really be able to hear though and see though is them tell you, well, I would have did that too. And now that lets you know, okay, this is a loose cannon. Or now you see a woman who you thought was on the up and up. Oh, you would have engaged in this. Oh, okay. So then you putting on an act now. We just ain't had a chance for you to get out of character yet. Or you haven't gotten a chance to get out of character and return back who you are. But eventually I'll see the real you then. So Kareem also goes to say the black community also takes a direct hit from Smith. One of the main talking points from those supporting the systematic racism in America is characterizing blacks as more prone to violence and less able to control their emotions. And again, when you see us on TV, what do you always see? You see cops on TV saying, hey, yo, they was aggressive. And see, you have to understand what that slap meant was even Black America's most tame and mildest character is aggressive and prone to violence. So what does that say for everybody else? So now when a woman says, hey, yo, he hit me, and I can't put it past him, Will smack Chris Rock. And Will is smack somebody, anybody is smack somebody. That's how we get labeled. They've always labeled us as aggressive. Couldn't control our emotions, couldn't control our temper. And on the biggest of stages, Will showed it. He exhibited that behavior. Smith just gave comfort to the enemy by providing them with the perfect. Now, see, that's Kareem. That's that black Muslim coming out of him. By providing them with the perfect optics they were dreaming of. Fox News host Janine Pirro wasted no time going full metal jacket racist by declaring the Oscars are not the hood. What would she have said if Brad Pitt slapped Ricky Gervais? This isn't Rodeo Drive. Many will be reinvigorated to continue their campaign to marginalize African Americans and others through voter suppression campaign. And see, again, this is why I say we always focus on the now and we never see what's coming down the pike 10 years from now. I always tell you I remain calm and I'm very calculated and thought-provoking because I understand the ramifications of every word that I say, every movement that I make, every side, every meme mug. There's consequences to that. There's judgment. Now, as for the damage to show business, Smith's violence is an implied threat to all comedians who now have to worry that their edgy or insulting joke might be met with violence. And again, we've seen already comedians say, "Yo, I ain't really getting on stage now." Now, are we gonna have some problems at some of these rinky-dink comedy clubs now? We sure are. Now, do some comedians get very disrespectful with people in the audience? They sure do. One thing I always say is don't sit at the front. You sit at the front, they will find you. Now they'll find you anyway, but you sit at the front in a small comedy club, you're asking for it. You're asking to be a part of the show. Now, he says, good thing Don Rickles, Bill Burr, or Ricky Gervais weren't there. His comedian Kathy Griffin tweeted, now we all have to worry about who wants to be the next Will Smith in comedy clubs and theaters. The one bright note is that Chris Rock, clearly stunned, managed to handle the moment with grace and maturity. If only Smith's acceptance speech had shown similar grace and maturity and included, instead of self-aggrandizing excuses, a heartfelt apology to Rock. Again, Will talked about everything and apologized to everybody except for Chris Rock. And then a couple of days later, he wanted to apologize to Chris Rock. Now, for me, I'm petty. I'm Chris Rock. I'm telling them, screw yourself. I already told you, smack me. It ain't no need to apologize. And you're not even sorry you smacked. Again, I always tell you, the apology is just for the feelings. Your feelings are hurt and you feel a way about the way you make that person feel. So you apologize and hopefully they'll lift the burden off of you and you won't feel as bad. But it has nothing to do really with you sorry for the act. Usually when a person apologizes, they don't like the way you reacted to what they did, which now makes them feel bad. So they're really apologizing so you can say, I forgive you, and they can feel better. I met Will Smith when I appeared on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 28 years ago, and I've been to his house. I like him. He's charming, sincere, and funny. I'm also a big fan of his movies. He's an accomplished and dedicated actor who deserves the professional accolades he's received. But it will be difficult to watch the next movie without remembering this sad performance. And see, that's something I don't think people get. A lot of times on the biggest of stages, when the pressure and the moment is as biggest, will you fold? A lot of times you'll reveal your character at that point. I don't want to see him punished or ostracized because of this one, albeit a big one, mistake. I just want this to be a cautionary tale for others not to romanticize or glorify bad behavior. And I want Smith to be the man who really protects others by admitting the harm he's done to others. Update. Since this article was first published, Will Smith has issued an apology to Chris Rock, the Academy, and the audience. In part, he posted, violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. His publicist wrote this. He didn't write this. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. That's a coward's way out. Because Chris Rock told you he didn't know. And he didn't say anything about alopecia at all. And again, when Jada was playing a character on Gotham, she had short hair. When Jada was on A Different World, Jada had short hair. You'll find more years of Jada with short hair than you will long hair. But again, he's using the medical condition for the reason he japped out. You know why? Because he still hasn't come to grips and wants to admit to you why he truly went up there and smacked him. So this ain't even a sincere apology. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. Now, he didn't say my actions were not indicative of the man that I am. So you always got to be careful. I always tell you about what people are saying and don't say. Because he's telling you who he wants to be, which means whatever y'all think he is, he ain't that person right now. Who is he right now? I still don't think the world knows. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. Again, publicists wrote it. But what I will tell you is if you really wanted to apologize, you just show up in Boston, I believe, the following night. You walk up on stage and you lend your hand out to Chris. Or you grab a mic and you go on stage and you publicly apologize right then and there, man to man, face to face. This is a coward's way out. And I wouldn't expect anything less from a coward. It's your boy, the Hood Nerd. I'm out.